Hey, everybody. I am super excited today because I have on someone who I worked with personally and is absolutely a phenomenal agent, a phenomenal person, and is amazing at building a team. So if you want to learn how to grow a team, do it in a way that literally taking brand new agents and really blowing things up, you'll want to watch this all the way through. And here I go. I'm going to cue our intro. Welcome to Business Insights with Matt Milia. I'm your host, Matt Milia, and in this podcast, we'll talk about the real, raw, uncut business success secrets you won't find anywhere else. Follow my journey from entry level to CEO. We discuss real actionable items you can plug into your business right away. To subscribe to our weekly top tips, you can go to www.mattpodcast.com and join our community of elite high-level performers. And if you're interested in our inside sales company, you can go to www.appointmentstoday.com to jump on a free strategy call. And now, stay tuned for our podcast. All right. What's going on, Sue?
How are you? I'm good.
I am great. Thank you so much for coming on. And I'm super excited because I've actually not had anyone on here that's talked about really recruiting and growing a team that way. So I'd love to have you first and foremost tell everyone a little bit about yourself and share a little bit about your journey.
Sure. So I've been in real estate for 18 years. I started when my son was 10. My oldest son was 10, who now just got his real estate license and is working with me as well as one of the newbies right out of school. I decided to get into real estate. I was in retail management. I wanted to start and have more kids. And I thought it was going to be the easiest job for me to be able to juggle all of that. I was an individual agent for a long time. Matt and I worked together at a boutique brokerage that taught me a lot of different ways to grow your business. And then I decided it was the next step was to take my business to the next level and start a team. So when I thought about that and what that looked like, I had met somebody through the wrestling world who did something similar in customer service. And when I started 18 years ago, we didn't have all of the training we have today. We didn't have the internet the way we have it today. We didn't have webinars. We didn't have coaches. We didn't have any of this stuff. So you literally just had to figure it all out on your own. And we did that by trial and error. You just went through deals. You figured out what you don't do on the next deal or what you did wrong on this deal to figure out how to make it better on the next deal. So when I decided to start my team, I thought with how crazy our industry is, and we've all come across agents that do things not the way we do them. We've run across unethical agents. We've run across agents that don't respond, 3 days sitting on an offer, just a lot. I mean, anyone who's in real estate is going to come across that at some point or another. And my focus and my goal was to bring agents right out of school, which anybody out there who has sat through those 120 hours teaches you nothing but how not to get sued in the industry. And I said that I just wanted to bring them into the industry, teach them how to do things the right way. In 18 years, sometimes I think I've seen it all. And then one of my new agents comes to me and say, hey, this just happened. And I've never seen that before either. So just kind of teaching them how to build their business, stay ethical, get a good reputation, get good reviews, and build their business from there.
I love it. And so, I mean, what was it that brought you to a team? I mean, what was it that stopped you from just trying to do your own thing?
I guess I was just getting to the point where I had been doing it for so long. I knew it was going to be the next step in my career. Honestly, I was spending a lot of time in Florida, and I was like, God, I just want to live here. My kids, I have 5 more years with them at home, and maybe I'll come down here and sell real estate. And then when the whole team idea came into play, I said I could do both. Then I could have a team here in Cleveland. And, I now have my mom works for me. My son works for me. I'm like, we can have it here. And then I can take off and go to Florida 6 months out of the year and start another team down there. So it's very much a bigger picture for me. But my focus is definitely being a really good example in the industry of how to do things the right way, how to build relationships with other agents, how to stay in touch with your clients, how to make sure you're taking them from start to finish without dropping the ball on anything, making sure you're partnering with the right affiliates to get you across the finish line without any problems.
I love it. And I mean, and I know that you've had, it's always funny because everyone looks at the path when they see someone's success and they're like, oh, it was just straight to the top. There's definitely ups and downs as far as some of like the lessons learned, because you took on, you were part of a team, then you had another team, and then you guys went separate ways, and then now you have another team, but you have actually honed in on something that most people haven't, which is finding talent in brand new real estate agents. And that's challenging. And we're going to get into that. But as far as some lessons learned with having a team, like what are some things that, you really never thought of before, getting rolling?
As far as having a team, well, I went through a lot in my career. So I was married for the first 10 years of my career, built off of his relationships. He was a firefighter. And so I got lots of referrals and kind of built from that direction. Not that I wasn't building my own referral basis, but that was a lot. And I had 2 little ones at home. So I wasn't out there pounding the pavement. I wasn't trying to crush it. I was trying to be a mom and sell real estate at the same time. And then when I got divorced in 2012, I was like, oh shit, like now what do I do? Because I fed off of a lot that just fell into my lap, so to speak. And that's another big, huge misconception in real estate that, it's all just going to fall into your lap and people are going to come to you and you're going to be able to sell houses that way. And that's where we met when I decided to take a different turn. And, we worked together over with Al, and I learned a ton there. It was a brokerage that was smaller and it was boutique, but he had so many tools in place that I never even knew existed in the real estate world. So when I decided to start a team, I really didn't know what the heck I was doing, to be truthful. I was like, I'm gonna try this and see what happens. And I had a business partner at the time, and we did great. We brought on some great agents, and we were able to function very well as a team. Our agents were doing great. We just kind of went in a different direction as far as where we wanted our careers to go. So when I started my own team, that's really what my focus was. I thought, you know what? There's so many different brokerages out there and so many different ways of teaching agents how to build their business or how to start their career. And I just felt the newer agents are more trainable. They're more eager to listen to everything you have to say. And I'm not saying that seasoned agents aren't, but there's just so many different ways to do it.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, seasoned agents really, they get into a habit and then it's really hard. And whether it's a good habit or a bad habit, we all know that habits are hard to break and they're hard to develop and create. And if you're running a team and you have a certain way that you're doing things and you want it to be all in alignment, it's very difficult to get everyone in. So that totally makes sense.
Yeah. My vision was more from like an ethical and professionalism standpoint. And just being there like one-on-one. Some brokerages are like, hey, you got your license. Here's a binder. Read this binder and go sell some houses. So for me, they shadow my listing appointments. They shadow my open houses. I go run buyers with them. I do everything that I have to do to help them until they're comfortable. I will hold their hand until they're comfortable on their own.
I love it. And so like, how do you find these agents, these new agents? I mean, do you go to schools? I mean, how do you actually find them? How do you locate them?
Truth be told, some have just come to me. I have a pretty big presence on social media, and I think they see that how our team functions and how we support each other. So I had Jessica just came with me from the previous team, but her and I have known each other forever. Quite a few of my agents were past clients who decided to get into the industry. So 2 of them were past clients who I did several transactions with before they got into the industry. My mom, my son, so they didn't really have a choice to go shop around or look anywhere else. And then Bo is married to my cousin. Again, just a career change, and he came to me for advice, and he's with us now. So 3 are family members. And then the rest who are on board literally were either started as an individual agent and came to me, or came to me prior to getting their license. So with COVID and everything, we're not doing a whole lot of presentations at Hondros or anything like that. It's just really social media presence.
That's awesome. And I mean, so as far as, so you were going to the schools, you were basically, were you setting up booths? Is that really like more or less what you did? Like kind of set up a booth and talk with them?
Yeah. But at that point, so I brought on, my own personal team started in December of 2018. And I brought on 3 in July of 2019. So that was a lot to onboard 3 brand new agents at one time. They're absolutely crushing it. Another part of when you do something like this and take them right out of school, I had to learn like the right questions to ask. So one question I didn't ask when I started bringing everyone, I was like, where are you going to get your clients? Where's your sphere coming from? And so I had to learn along the way, Bo moved here from Florida. He really doesn't know anybody in Cleveland. So we had to get creative on how we were going to create their clientele, their sphere in order to make them successful. And I'll tell you, in the last 12 months, even with COVID, being in the largest Keller Williams top producing team in the state of Ohio, we're 3rd behind the Easy Sales team, which, in my opinion, doesn't count because they have 85 agents. So we're 3rd in the last 12 months in sales.
That's awesome. I mean, I knew you were good. I just didn't know you were that good. I mean, that's awesome. And you have such a, I mean, and I say this in such a respectful way. You have such a small team, and if you're keeping that momentum with those guys, I mean, your agents must be killing it, and they're new.
Right. That's the big thing for me is 3 of them have been licensed since July.
Wow.
1 since October. Anthony just got licensed. And I have a couple new ones coming on soon. For them to be so successful in their first year makes me extremely proud. And, I did an interview with somebody else and I said, the biggest takeaway and the biggest reward for me doing this is watching them get their first listing document signed and seeing their rider go up on the top of our sign and then closing their first deal and getting to give them their first housewarming gift and get their first commission check. It's just amazing.
It is amazing. And I had the luxury of actually, shameless plug here. I had the luxury of also training Anthony and working together with him. Is he still using those, the same skills for his phone calls, or how's he doing with his calling?
Funny story. He's literally only been licensed a couple weeks, but we had our first meeting and he brought out his notes that he took while he was working with you. And he's like, Mom, I got all my notes from when I was with Matt. So he was like ready to go. So yeah, he is.
I love it. So he's that's going to be a good core staple for him, and it's going to be a good staple for your team as well, because I'm sure there's a lot of things that he can literally say, hey, you know what? We were saying this on the phone. We were talking about these core elements to get somebody to set up an appointment. And it's so vital because, I mean, getting lead generation is just a small part of the equation, but yes, having that conversion on the back end and knowing what to say and when to say it makes a huge difference. So as far as for you and with your agents that come on, I know you said, of course, you're looking at a lot of the newer agents, and what are some things like as far as just characteristics, maybe traits, are there certain things that you look for in the new agent? And then are there things that you say, I'm going to stay far away?
Honestly, no. So I think everybody has a different personality. Everyone has come from a different background. I think as long as they have a drive, I have a very young group, number one. Some are married with kids, some are not married yet, some don't have kids. And I think as long as everybody has a drive and a want to succeed in this industry, I'll take them. I'll teach you how to be successful. I'll teach you how to build your sphere. If somebody comes to me and I haven't said no to anybody, to be truthful, as long as they're eager and willing to learn.
So I'm going to challenge you because I know how you're wired, and you didn't say this yet, but if I were, let's just say you had no clue who I was a brand new agent and said, hey, you know what? I'll make calls when I feel like it. I'll come in whenever I feel like it. But, I I'll just do it when I feel like it. I'm assuming you probably would say you probably would accept that person. Is that pretty fair to say?
I do have two, well, and again, different circumstances. I have one who's got to homeschool 3 kids. Like she has no choice. And,
Sure.
that kind of thing. But yes, do I want people who are going to be driven to build their business and make their phone calls and be successful? Yes, 100%.
Awesome.
Right now I'm being obviously, and I'm not that team leader that says you have to be in the office every single day, do this, but as long as they're willing to put the time in, they are already seeing the rewards. And I love how they feed off each other. So when you bring on all of these new people, they'll be like, wait, Bo just closed 3 deals in the last 2 weeks, and I can totally do that. And then they figure out how to get their next 3 deals. Or, COVID hit and somebody was home with, a pregnant wife or a newborn baby. Like they all feed off each other's energy and want to be a part of all of the successes. So that's something that plays a big role too. But I don't have I'm not like, if you don't sell 4 houses a month, you're gone. I really just try to build up their confidence, and then it just comes.
No, and it's mindset, I think, and that's why I was just trying to hit on that because I know, and with Anthony, when we worked together, he was very he was really relaxed, but he was almost generally the silent person in the room is usually the one that you have to worry the most about. And I say that in a good way because he was so he's very focused on well, how do I get better? How do I get through these calls? And he obviously at that point, he wasn't even a real estate agent. So, I mean, he was just kind of getting into it. And I mean, he was awesome on the phone. So I'm really excited to hear that he's now a part of the team. Yeah. I think that's going to be a huge addition. And he's someone who, when he got on the call, I mean, it was an easy conversation. He would get people to engage. He would listen to them. He would, engage with them. And that makes a world of difference. So, but yeah, mindset is, I think, really the biggest thing. And I see the back of your wall. That to me is like core values right there. So, I mean, if it was somebody that was just lazy, disengaged, didn't want to do anything, I mean, they would not have they wouldn't be there.
Right. And I'll tell you, through this whole this year's been insane for real estate. Everybody knows that.
Oh yeah.
These kids, I call them my kids, but my agents who have barely been in the industry for a year have been hit with some hard monkey wrenches in these deals. So their character came through in dealing with a lot of those and how professional they were. And, one will have a deal fall apart at a final walkthrough thinking, it's going to close 2 days from now. And they've handled so many of these challenges, multiple offers, writing, 10 offers and trying to figure out how to get one accepted when there's 27 other offers on the table. So their drive is there, their values are there. And I just think that I found a group of agents that really all mesh and gel together really well through all of this.
I love it. So with where you guys are currently, I mean, how many agents now is it?
So there's 12 total on our team.
Okay.
We'll be 12. I have a couple that are still, one's transferring her license and then 2 are finishing up classes.
Okay. And I really want to hit home on this for everyone that's watching, because to be able to bring, I mean, I give you all the credit in the world. You have to have a massive amount of patience, because when someone brand new comes in, that there's that learning curve. Yeah. There's time that needs to be invested in training and helping them grow. As far as the questions go that you ask when you bring people in, or even just challenges that some of them see, what are some things that you've kind of done to help offset some of those obstacles they have? Because everyone's same challenge: lead generation, converting the leads, finding time to go see houses.
Right. So time management is big with newer agents. The other big thing is I find a lot of fear of making a mistake, fear of saying the wrong thing. Sometimes they're like, well, what if this happens? So, real estate, not one deal is the same as the next. So sometimes they get too far ahead of themselves and go, but what if he says this, or what if this happens? So as a newer agent, I have to pull myself back and put them in their thought process, because they haven't done this for 18 years and they haven't done 100 transactions or whatever. So they're coming to me with more of those questions. They're all very good at generating their own business. They're all very good at going out and getting that client or getting that listing and not being afraid to do that. I think being newer it's like I said, more of a fear of making a mistake or having something not go like the way it's supposed to through the transaction, and that being a bad reflection on them as they're trying to build referral bases and that thing. So I just try to really keep them calm and make them understand that there's a lot of things that are out of our control through the process, and they just have to be a calming sense to the client and things like that. But this last year, I think that's one of the biggest things I've seen is just the fear of making a mistake or not saying the right thing or not knowing the right answer.
Okay. No, I mean, it makes complete sense. You guys kind of go through just like role plays, and okay, I love that.
A couple of our meetings, we haven't had a ton because of COVID, but I try to say, so
sure.
You had this deal from hell. What happened? And like, how did we get to the finish line so that everybody else can hear from that scenario? So if it ever happened again, which I'm telling you, Matt, the scenarios that we had during COVID were insane. Some of these, like I don't even know where some of these issues came from, but we got through them all for the most part. But then you see their confidence grow, and then like the next deal, they don't call for everything; they just call for different things. But I love it. Like I love seeing them transform into their own sense of confidence and accomplishment and figuring things out and troubleshooting.
That's again, too, same thing here with COVID. I mean, it's forced us to do a lot of things that we've never done. I mean, I stepped into industries I never thought. I mean, I actually work in a concrete industry and help people with like installing concrete. We work with people in roofing. We work with solar. I mean, we've made so many adjustments because I know that there's always areas of need. And I mean, with COVID, I mean, yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, meeting people face to face at the house. I mean, that's the bread and butter of most agents. And that was, I mean, would you say that was probably a challenge to kind of get people more used to what we're doing right now opposed to meeting?
So ironically, in here in Ohio, I don't know where everyone's watching from, but we were deemed essential. And so we didn't really have to stop showing houses or anything. My glare is really weird. We didn't have to stop showing houses. Some of the agents chose not to, and I was completely okay with that. I had done virtual showings prior to COVID just from out-of-state buyers and things like that. So definitely it was an adjustment. There was a different level of trust that we had to earn with our clients as far as them not physically seeing it. And then even through the process. So, the inspectors only wanted to be there by themselves. The client couldn't be there hands-on with the inspector. So that was another FaceTime call. So yes, challenging, yes, adaptable, yes. And I think now that it's been going on for so long, it's just a different way of doing things, but still working very well.
That's awesome. I love it. Taking this a couple steps back. So I know we've talked too in the past about, inside sales, leveraging that. And of course, it is so awesome that you have Anthony there to help really facilitate training. When we worked together and you worked with us, I mean, what was your experience with the appointments that were being set? And do you think that having inside sales is a pivotal part of everyone's business?
I do. We don't have one right now. It's a very hard position to fill. You have to have a Matt Milia in order to fill that role. It was my first and only experience with inside sales when we worked together over there, and it was amazing. Awesome. Hearing you on the phone with them was amazing. Watching that system play out was super cool. And then even as you got to the appointment, it was a very different, it's almost like you didn't have to prep anybody. It was already on the table. Everybody knew what was happening and what the conversation was going to be like. So yes, I do feel like having an inside salesperson is very, it's very good to open a lot of different doors that normally wouldn't open if you didn't have one.
I love it. And I appreciate the kind words. And it was funny because I remember there were only a small handful of agents that I always chose, and it was you and pretty much Al and Christy, but I mean literally I knew oh, they're gonna close them. Yeah. And I mean we had amazing agents, but I also knew that it was all about relationships, and that's something that you've always been really good at. I mean, it was funny because even when you joined our team, it was almost like you knew everyone for years, and you've been there and you just fit right in. So That is amazing.
Yeah, I say that all the time. I feel like real estate is a personality connection.
So true.
When you meet a client, you have to find a way to connect with that person's personality or you're going to lose them. We, I feel, are more guidance counselors, and we're not salespeople. We're really there to guide them through the process of buying or selling a home. So connecting with that person, in our industry, I've been a marriage counselor. I've sat across the table from people who are selling their parents' home after they passed away. I'm helping somebody's child buy their first home. There's so many emotions, and you have to be able to feel that and know that. And when you were doing our appointments for us too, you would say, okay, this is what you're walking into. This is why they're selling. So you almost knew ahead of time what you were up to, what the challenge was when you got there, how emotional it was going to be, and things like that.
Yeah, and I've had plenty of times where people would cry to me over the phone or would tell me some wildly inappropriate things, and I'm like, I don't need to know any of this. Right. But it is all a part of the process because it's building that relationship. And I think a lot of it too is that what people see on camera, from both of us, this is how we are. It's not a sugar coated, it's literally your personality shines through. And that's, that really to you as well. Your team, the team that you built, you're inserting your personality, you're inserting your, really kind of the successes and the failures and everything in between, and then trying to get them to follow that roadmap and that process. So I love that you've laid the groundwork and that you're producing at such a high level with a small. They have 90 some people, you said, in the one team. That's crazy.
They have 81 agents. No one's going to check them. They're they just got the award for top producing team through OAR last night, which is super successful, and they have been. They've played a very big role in helping me and guiding me through building my team and things that I can do differently and build on, which is amazing. I don't ever want 81 people on my team. I love how close. I know. I love how close our team is. We all have each other's backs. We're all there for each other. If somebody has an emergency, somebody else is jumping in to show a house, and that's what we had when we were together, and that's what I want to have moving forward. This job can be so stressful, and when you surround yourself with the right people, it won't be as bad. It's not going to be that bad. You can get through anything when you're with the right people.
I love it. And for everyone that's watching, so again, Sue is not just a great at building a team, but is also a great person, is also part of Boss Babes, and you actually co-founded it, which is really cool.
I went through some challenging times a few years ago, and I sold my house and I moved into a place here in Westlake called Crocker Park, and it's a shopping center, it has apartments. And ironically, the same time, somebody who I knew in the industry, who we were just acquaintances at the time, was moving in as well. And it was just a big adjustment for me. I had been in my house for 18 years, and we had coffee one day, and then we had lunch another day, and then we talked business a couple times, and she introduced me to some other agents who I never knew before. And we just started this, we just were women in the industry getting together and kind of like-minded individuals. So we said we should make this bigger. We should do something with this. This, like I said, this injury is so stressful. To me, there's enough business to go around. We all have to support each other. We're all going to be working on opposite ends of the deal. So we said, let's just do this thing. Let's just try this one night thing. So we went and we created Boss Babes Cleveland, and we had a one night retreat at Put in Bay. We rented out a bed and breakfast, and we sold out at 30 agents. We made it very clear that it was not a recruiting event. No one's trying to sell anything. You're not trying to push your services or anything like that. We just kept it to just agents. And we had, I think, 1 or 2 home warranty reps, and then just title, because Stacy is my business partner in this, and she's with Ohio Real Title. And it was an amazing time. We did some team building things. We did some, goofy retreat things that we didn't know how they were going to take. Like, you pick an M&M color out of the jar and say something about that color to somebody else next to you. And, we passed along things, and we did a scavenger hunt, and it was just amazing. So we've now grown. We do have over 100 members. Due to COVID, we had to cancel our retreat this year that was supposed to be at Hocking Hills, actually right now, or this past weekend. We canceled that, but we're trying to do monthly events. And then we did like the Tiki Barge a couple weeks ago. We're going to do some yoga things. We're going to just keep everybody's spirits high. We didn't really know how COVID was going to affect people being, technically not allowed out of your house and kids home from school. So we wanted to continue to grow and offer support to the industry. And that's kind of what we've done. And it's kind of blossomed into this big thing. And we have a ton of amazing things coming for next year as well.
My wife wants to point out how much she loves the group as well. So,
Stephanie, Stephanie's our Snapchatter. If you want to know what happens at a Boss Babes event, Stephanie has it all.
She just got back, I think, from the wedding. She told me there was almost like 1,000 photos for one of our family members. I mean, that's like just what she does. So, I mean, she documents the journey, and I love that. So, I mean, because I probably wouldn't have any photos or video. I'd have very few of myself, and she's that.
Yeah, and that's super exciting too, because we weren't really sure how it was going to take off, and to see so many people reach out to us and say, "When's the next event?" and when are we doing the next thing? It's amazing to see. And how supportive everybody is of each other in the industry.
And you guys are all working together. It's just so reciprocal. So it's not, it's not, I'm all about myself so really, you have a lot of like really strong ingrained core values that you surround yourself with the right people. So that's really awesome. And then Project Preemie, if you want to touch on that as well, just because I think that's amazing.
Yeah, so Project Preemie was founded a few years ago by my cousin, and it started out as Project Preemie, supporting the families of babies who are in the NICU units in 5 area hospitals in Cleveland. She changed the name recently to Project NICU because it's bigger than that. So all 3 of my kids were preemies. Anthony being preemie, 28 years ago is way different than what they have available in the hospitals now. But my cousin's children were also extremely preemie, to where her one child, I believe, stayed almost 3 to 4 months in the hospital before he could come home. So it was big for me because we wanted to find a charity that we could give back to, and always want to be involved in the community. But, there's so many organizations that give to the Cleveland Food Bank, and there's so many that gives to cancer awareness. And I'm not saying that those are not important at all, but this was a smaller new nonprofit that was very close to me because I'd been through it. So basically, she supports all 5 area NICU hospitals and their families. She does amazing events when we could to raise money. So we've done things like we did a fuzzy sock drive last Christmas. So all the moms that were going to be in the hospital with their babies over Christmas didn't have to wear hospital socks. They could wear cute little fuzzy socks and feel more comfortable. Pam has done Night Out for Babies, which is a big fundraising, dinner, dancing. She does some crazy stuff there, but it's such a fun night. She's got lots of major supporters within some of the sports organizations, and really has built this thing up to where families know that they have support. We give back to the nurses of the NICU units. She now has rooms in there that have like therapy candles and journals and places where the moms can go just to take a minute away to take a breather and have a little bit of peace and just feel like there's other people in that room that are going through the same thing.
That is so cool. So, and I'm glad you opened up on that, because I know we went for something to give fuzzy socks, and I thought that was a really cool event. And I'm like, so it's about more than the socks. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. So
babies that are born at 2 pounds that are in the hospital for a really long time. Some go home on trach machines that can't breathe on their own. And Pam started it because she said, I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know who to talk to. I don't know who went through this. And so now this community is so huge. It's truly amazing what she's built. We're very, very proud to be a part of it.
The only interaction I had was literally with the Fuzzy Socks event. And that was so much fun to go buy these like random Christmas socks. I'm like, oh, these are cool. And I didn't know a whole lot about it. And now that I absolutely love that. That's amazing. So that's great. So, and you've really helped facilitate the relationship within the community. So, you're a connector. That's literally like you connect the right people. So I love it.
I love giving back. Obviously, my kids are super crazy active, and I'm running in circles 24/7, but we do try to do what we can. And one way or the other, we give back as much as we can.
It's awesome. Well, and I think hockey and cheerleading and dance. And I mean, I don't know I know you have all kinds of things going on. And the fact that you're still rocking out an awesome team, you are literally like in the top with all of these top producers, and it's amazing. So it's a huge testament to you and the way you're running your team. So, hey, listen, Sue, thank you so much for coming on, and for everyone that's watching, if you you have anything you want to close on, anything that you want to touch on that we didn't already go through?
I mean, just hang in there. If you're a newer agent, just stay focused and find people who can put you on the right path and teach you how to do things the right way. Don't fall into these, ruts of doing things the wrong way or not following through, and just be true to who you are.
I love it. And that's amazing advice. So for everyone that's watching, we will see you same time, same channel again. Sue, thank you so much for being on. And see everybody. Thank you, Sue.
Bye.